Hello, we're in section 6.1 and we're going to be talking about markup. These are parts of what we'll be talking about. The selling price. So the selling price is what you would pay in a store. So whatever they mark it up to, that is your selling price. The cost is what the store would have paid to buy that item. And then the markup is the amount of that they add to the cost to get the selling price. We're also going to be talking about a markup percent. So if we're looking at just a simple formula, the selling price is equal to the cost plus the markup, the dollar amount of the markup. And that is pretty simple. And whenever you're purchasing things, I think that you probably understand this just fine. Now, this is a simple way to look at markup, and we've got to work on some things that are more complicated. But basically this says you purchase a pair of shoes for your shoe store at a cost of $22.90. Your markup on the shoes is $14.16. At what price should you sell the shoes? Well, we're simply going to add the cost, $22.90, to our amount of markup, $14.16, and let me write this out. That would be the selling price, S, and the selling price in this case is $37.06. So that is in its simplest form. When you actually know the cost and you know the markup, it's easy to find the selling price. Or if you know the selling price and the cost, you could find the markup, and you know, you could go at that in various ways. Here's another one. You have a pair of shoes for sale with a price of $43.99. The cost of the shoes was $26.39. And so on this one's going to look a little bit different. What's the amount of the markup, right? So we know the selling price, $43.99. We know the cost, $26.39. And then that is plus the markup amount. Well, on this one, this is solving an equation. Like we've talked about solving equations, right? We would subtract $26.39 to find the amount of the markup. And that is $17.60. All right, so that's the formula when we've just got basic things and we know enough of it. And now we're going to go to one that's a little more difficult. This is what we call the markup formula, where we will know the selling price or the cost. We have to know one of them. Plus, we're going to add the percent of the markup times either the selling price or the cost, and we will know one of the other. We'll either have a number there or we'll have a variable there. So I like to use S and C. If you notice that X can be used for the cost or for the selling price, I like to use S or C to know if I'm solving for selling price or cost. So I'm going to show you how to use this formula. We're going to practice it quite a number of times. And so I put these boxes on each of the slides from here on out, and we have to do some identifying. Okay, Rusty Pipes owns an automotive dealership. He is considering purchasing a used car for his inventory that he believes he can resell for $13,850. So we know that $13,850 is the selling price, right? He can resell, right? Resell for $13,850. So that, of course, is the selling price. And I'm going to put that in this box. If Rusty needs to keep a 19.8% markup on selling price, what amount should he pay for the used car? So what amount should he pay? That's going to be his cost, right? What amount should he pay? And that would be cost. And so we don't know cost, and we're going to put a C right here. The markup percent is 19.8%. 8, and that was a markup percent on selling price. So that means the part that is going to go here is selling price, and I happen to know the selling price in this case. So we're going to put in $13,850. Now, markup on selling price, that's super important right here, that you recognize what the markup's going to be on. And you guys, it's okay if it's a variable, if it happens to be for that particular question. So basically the formula gives us an equation. And this is what the equation looks like. 13,850 equals C plus 19.8% is going to be 0.198. And we're multiplying that times 13,850. And so that is the equation. Okay, so we have the 13,850 equals my cost plus, when I multiply those two numbers, the 0.198 and 13,850, I get 2742.30. To solve for C, I subtract. And I find my cost then. And my cost is $11,107.70. Now, you might think, wow, there's surely an easier way to do this. There are some cases where you'll be able to do the calculations and understand them without this formula. But quite honestly, knowing when to use the formula and when not to use the formula can get very tricky. My suggestion is just use the formula. And so if you put the numbers in every time and you practice that, you'll always be able to solve correctly for C or for S. All right. Rusty's brother, Dwayne Pipes, owns his own used car business. Dwayne is going to an auto auction to buy a car he thinks he can sell for $4,720. So he thinks he can sell it for the $4,720. That means that we know the selling price again, right? So that's going to be my $4,720. And he uses a 73.4% markup on cost. What amount can he expect to pay for the car, right? So he is going to purchase this car, which is cost. My markup percent is on the cost. Let me highlight this, right? 73.4% markup on cost. And so what goes in the box this time is C. So now we can write the equation that we're going to solve. 4720 equals C plus 0.734C. And then hopefully you recognize this. This is a 1C because we did some equation solving with some similar type numbers. So that would be 1.734C. We have two C's together on one side, so we add those together. And then divide by 1.734 on both sides. And so C in this case will be 2,722.03. Cost is always less than selling price. Selling price is always more than cost, and that is going to be standard as we work through all these questions. And hopefully that seems logical. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording, and then we'll do more equation solving and setting up the formula on the next video.